Alright everyone, as you can tell by the title of today's video, we'll be talking about devil power in Black Clover, devil contracts, and devil binding rituals to be specific, right? And in today's video, we'll be talking about the differences between both and a fun theory, an interesting theory rather, and about how it might come about and the importance or rather the origin of these contracts and what enforces them and what allows them to be as powerful as they are, right? So first and foremost, let's define devil contracts, right? As the name implies, it's a power up rather, an ability to form a contract with the devil to borrow their power and use it for your own, right? And in the story of Black Clover, this is one of the most popular power-ups, right? The main character himself uses a form of this power-up, right? And noticeable evil villains antagonists uses this said power up in different forms and ways, right? It's arguably one of the strongest power ups in the series, arguably top 3. And so devil contracts, first and foremost, let's go about the first one. We were first introduced to devil contracts when the Spade Kingdom raid arc started, right? When the Spade Saga, to be specific, when the Dark Triad were introduced. And so we learned about 3 siblings, the Dark Triad, they go by, and they use the power of the 3 rulers of hell, right? And how they go about acquiring this power is negotiating, is rather bargaining with the devil, this respective devil. You summon the devil, right? And you form a deal with them to have their power be transmitted to your soul, to your body across the dimensions, right? Because as you know, they're divided by these dimensional barriers created by the Clever tree. So for their power to cross over to that barrier, you have to like summon them, grant permission, whatsoever. So to acquire this power, you have to summon them. As of the recording of this video, it's not fully detailed as to how this ritual goes about and how do you set it up or whatsoever, but there is a contract, there is a ritual in which you summon the devil, in which you communicate with them, and the devil grants you some of their power, a percentage of their power dependent on your affinity, and it's transmitted to you, right? In various amount, and the person who also is contracted with that can also share that power to other persons, right? So that's how the name we'll use for this power up, for this type of devil contract, is devil marking. As you can tell, Dark Triad have these markings upon their faces when they're in dealings with a devil from the Clever tree. So we'll call it devil marking. For the next power up is a devil binding ritual, introduced to us by Noct Frost, the vice captain of the Golden Dawn, the Black Bulls. And so through this power up, through this variant of devil contracting, it's a means of using a relic, an item that could be used to bind the devil to your soul and have you use the powers of the devil to your own use, right? And this involves a ritual in of itself, a ritual that we see the Frost family using, as the family of Noct Frost. And through this contract, you summon the devil, right? And what you're supposed to do basically is fight the devil. I forgot to mention that the devil marking ritual the Dark Triad uses, it is not stated that you have to battle the devil and put him into submission, right? But for the devil contracting, for this other devil contract, that being the devil binding ritual, to bind the devil, you have to subdue it in battle and overcome him. And then after that, you store the power within a relic or some other means, and you have that power to yourself to use. Unlike devil marking, you don't have a set amount of percentages bestowed to you depending on your affinity. You get the full devil, you get the full package to yourself once you subdue that devil in battle, in the devil binding ritual, right? And so that's the difference between devil marking from the Dark Triad, that used by the Dark Triad, and devil binding ritual used by Noct Frost and Asta. So 2 different outcomes achieved by different rituals and used in different ways. one percentages and one contracts and whatsoever. And yeah, that's basically it. I could clear up some things in the comments down below. This is not scripted or anything, this is just off my chest, and so we will cover anything else missed out down below in the comments down below. And so what I like to go over now is the power that enforces the devil binding ritual, specifically the devil binding ritual. We're not talking about the devil markings or that devil dealings that the dark triad go about. We're talking about devil binding ritual. So it's by a user on Reddit called Neutral Break, and he goes, and I quote, "The devil binding ritual is a formal contract where a relic is used to control the devil. I'm curious what power makes it so a devil can't break free. One would think magic, but what about Libe? How is he being contained because magic shouldn't work on him, right? I know he wouldn't break the contract because he wants it, but the mark on Asta and his arm remained even after using the anti-magic. So one would guess it isn't magic. Does another power or force exist that prevents Libe from breaking this contract?" And to elaborate on what he's saying here, he's saying basically, devil binding ritual, as a result of Asta subduing Libe into submission, a contract is formed on his arm, and that contract is formed by a magical presence, a magical ability, right? And it's formed on his arm. And seeing as though Libe is the anti-magic devil, you'd say anything magical that interacts with him is going to be cancelled. And with that, really, anti-magic for one can interact with other types of magic. As we can tell by the recording of this video, we've seen that much with the likes of Comer Demon as introduced to us lately in the Judgment Day arc. And so yeah, anti-magic can interact with other magic, but I kind of see where this person is saying, how does a contract, is a contract formed with magic on a devil that cancels magic? Shouldn't it kind of be negated and cancelled? Well, we'll think of this is really rather whether or not this force, as the person says here, that if he guessing it's perhaps not magic, is it another force that prevents Libe from breaking this contract unintentionally or intentionally, right? Regarding the presence of anti-magic and how it cancels out magic. What I say to this really is that anti-magic is complicated, really, because anti-magic, yes, negates magic, but can interact with magic, right? It can interact closely with magic, right? It can be combined with the likes of magic and replace certain effects, right? And so I mean there is evidence of this, really. We can pull up some panels, we can pull up different discussions on this said matter. And yeah, what a person really is bringing about is, if this force, the power brought about the rituals, is something greater than magic, right? But before I continue on to where this theory comes in, it's rather contracting. Devil binding rituals are contracts formed with both parties' souls, right? Asta's and the devil's, the contractor and the one being contracted with, right? And so I feel as though anti-magic, yes, is a power that can interact with magic and whatsoever, but like seeing as though whatever binding ritual is like connected to the soul and whatnot, it can be taking a greater ability, for an example, like the use of the demon destroyer sword to even cancel out said contract. And even though we've seen Devil Union Asta pull out the devil destroyer sword, demon destroyer sword, and interact with it, it didn't break said contract. So there's a deeper meaning to this. I could be missing something, but I kind of see where this person is going in this theory. But let's continue. It gets interesting, where a person replies and says it might be Lucifigus, or at least may be related to him in some way. For in demonology, Lucifugus, the demon Lucifugus is based on, was said to be responsible for overseeing all contracts. Lucifugus might have a similar role where he is being the judges and approves all contracts between humans and devils, and if he voids or rejects them, this would give him of a neutral role in the story rather than pure evil, as that would mean he allowed contracts between Asta and Libe and Noct and his devils to happen, even though they oppose the Dark Triad's plans, showing that his duty subsidies any personal alignment he might have. So, as you know, Lucifugus, the prime minister, the one before the three kings of hell in Black Clover, oversees, you know, what his theory is saying is that he might oversee contracts and devil binding rituals in Black Clover. He might hold the power that enforces them, right? And it would kind of make a lot of sense in the sense where when you consider that when Locke tried to make a contract with Lucifuge, that the power wasn't suppressed by the ritual. Perhaps like making a contract with Lucifuge, the master of contract is not supposed to be possible because it would break the system. Either that, or there might be an actual limit as to how many level contracts a person is allowed to have. Noct already had 4, which in itself is an unusual occurrence. So when he tried to make a 5th one with the master of contracts, that being Lucifugus, it might have been rejected. It was rejected rather, and Noct and his family tried to cheat the system as a result. And that's why, they perished, arrogantly thinking they could circumvent the laws that Lucifugus had put in place regarding devil contracts, and so for their greed, they were punished. So yeah, Lucifugus could have a type of personality where he's like a stickler for the rules. In a way, he's kind of like the devil version of Nominatio. The demon Lucifuge was put in charge of hell's government by order of Lucifer, similar to how Nominatio is in charge of the magic parliament. So you see the relation there, right? Where there's a system similar to how the Clover Kingdom has their magic parliament, royals, king. It's the same for devils of the Cleopatra tree. So, seeing as though Lucifigus is like the prime minister of hell, if Tabata wishes to do so, he could make Lucifigus play a more internal role when it comes to devil binding rituals and contracts, and that would actually fill in some gaps right there where it could explain how certain contracts are allowed, right? As for example, that being Asta and Libe, maybe there's an external power or a different type of power or force, like this theory implies, that could allow contracts, that could even make it so Libe and Asta can form a contract together, and how it's so that there are rules in place that denies a person from having more than 5 or so contracts, or a contract with the Lucifigus himself or whatsoever. So like I said, this is a theory. It's rather interesting. I hoped I explained it good. It's kind of all over the place, and there are some nuances to it which we will cover in the comments down below. But yeah, it is an interesting theory. In this video I explained the 2 contracts, the 2 types of ways of going about contracts, and the users of said contracts: devil binding ritual and the devil markings or devil dealings, as however you want to call it, and this theory that implies how devil binding ritual goes about, what kind of power enforces them and who enforces them, that being the likes of Lucifugus, and the rules and regulations of this said power system. And yeah, it's a fun theory, it's a fun idea, and I hope I clear up some things in this video today, guys. If you like anything I had to say and want to add on anything that I had missed out or forgot to mention, please do so down in the comments down below. Give this video a like, subscribe for more Black Clover content, and I'll see you guys in another one. Peace.